those of you who I haven't met yet, I'm Scott Wyman, the Employee Training Coordinator here at Central Texas College. This tutorial is designed to introduce you to the wonderful world of CTC e-forms. My intention isn't to teach you how to use specific forms for this one, but more I want to show you some general procedures for completing and routing your e-forms. I'm assuming by now most of y'all have been out and at least had a look at some of these forms, but just in case you haven't, I'm going to go ahead and start my this presentation by going through the process to get to the login screen and logging in. I'll keep it short though. The easiest way to get in there is to go to the CTC homepage, www.ctcd.edu, point to the faculty and staff link on the menu, and then slide down and click on the forms option. From there you'll see e-forms here in the upper left hand corner under faculty and staff forms. Click on the e-forms link, and from there over on the right side you'll see the login. It's kind of small, but there's the login link. Click on that login link, and that'll take you to the DocuFill or CTC e-forms login page. Your username is the same as your WebAdvisor password. It's the lowercase letter C and then your CTC ID. And your password, your default password is your 6-digit birth date. That's 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 2-digit year. One of my first recommendations is once you get into DocuFill is that you reset or change your password. And to do that, up here on our little icon menu, you click on the key icon. It doesn't look like a key, it looks more like a question mark, but trust me, it's a key. When you click on that key icon, it's going to open the settings. You don't need to worry about any of these password settings, email address, archive settings, any of that stuff. All you need to do is come in here to password, enter a new password, repeat that password, and then click the submit button. And that will effectively change your password to whatever you have it set for. Alright, from there, by default, DocuFill opens to the forms library, and this is the library button if you ever need to come back and look at the list of forms. So here's a list of forms available to me. You won't see all of these forms because I'm an administrator and you're probably not. So your form list will probably start somewhere here around the accounts payable. Now what these are is these are form groups. So whatever section your form would fall under, for example, if you want a leave form that we're going to see here in just a little bit, that's a payroll form. So you scroll down and you find HR payroll. All HR forms begin with HR. Student services forms begin with ST. We do have some budget and accounts payable forms, so they have their own groupings as well. But again, these are all the forms that you have to choose from. I'll just take a few minutes and continue across the toolbar here to our different icons. So this is our library icon. This is your save draft icon. What this is if you're in the middle of filling out a form and something happens and you need to stop but you don't want to start over, on the bottom of the forms you'll see a save draft button. When you click that save draft button, it'll save a copy of it. For example, here's a form that I opened up and started earlier. You just go in and you make whatever changes you need, and then you can click Save Draft down here on the bottom, and then when you have time you go back in and open that form up and continue. So there's the change that I just made. Alright, the next icon is your inbox icon. And what this is if you're in the approving process of any forms, when a form is sent to you for approval, it's going to show up here in your received documents folder, or what we call the inbox. So these are all forms that have been sent to me. You can see most of these I sent to myself through the testing process. But that's what this is. When you get a form, you'll get an email notification that says a form has been submitted for your approval. You just come into your inbox, click on the form, do whatever it is you need to do with that form, and then send it on. And we're going to get more into routing here in just a few minutes. So, but that's what this icon is. That's your inbox, your received documents. The next icon is your submitted documents, and this is every form that you personally have originated and submitted to someone else or sent to someone else for their approval. These are all the forms that I've submitted that have not yet been archived into DocuScan. So here you can see that this form was sent and nothing's been done with it. Let's see, here's one that was sent from the accounts payable. But all I would do is I can look at this and see what all's been done to the form. This form, I can look and see that nothing's been done to it. It's still sitting out there waiting for the next level of approval. Each form, every step that it takes through the approval process gets documented. So you can see this one I submitted to the employee training inbox. Employee training opened it on October 9th at 9:41, and they denied my form. So again, I can see everything that's happened, where it is, and who it's waiting for. After the submitted documents, we have the completed documents folder. This is every form that I've submitted that's been archived into DocuScan. And again, every form that I've submitted, I can come in here and I can go back to the very first form that I submitted, open that up, and look at the form. Now understand that this is only a copy of the form. There's nothing I can do with this other than maybe print it out if I want to, which I'm not sure why I would want to print in eForm when I have it right here on my computer. But if that's your thing, then the option is there. But again, you can see everything that happened, right? Every step of the way, everybody who approved it. You see here that payroll archived it, so on and so forth. These forms will live here in your completed archive for anywhere from 1 to 3 years. If you need to access a form that's been completed and you don't see it, you can contact IT or myself, and we can get with SoftDocs and see about recovering a form that's older than 3 years old. I've already told you what the key button or key icon was for up here. Then we have a print button, which I don't expect anybody would want to use because, well, that defeats the purpose of eForms. But it's there if you do need it. The help icon will take you to a web page of frequently asked questions about eForms, and I expect this to be a living document. It'll grow the more people use it. And then after that, we have the reports button. With the reports button, you can look at every form that you've submitted, every form that you've approved, every form that you've taken any kind of action on, broken down by day, last 3 days, last week, month, so on and so forth. So if I wanted to look at all the forms that I've received, here's forms that I've received in the last 3 months. There's 15 of them. If I wanted to look at this form and see what was done to it, again, I just click on it. There's the form. If I scroll down here, you can see the history of that form, everything that happened to it, every time it was approved, every time it was modified. So this history on the bottom becomes an actual part of the form when it's archived into DocuScan. This goes with it. It becomes part of the PDF. So it'll never go away. These comments that were added along the way can never be changed. All right, so there's all the icons. I'm going to go back to the library now, and I'm going to open the leave form, an employee leave form. You'll notice that we have a couple different leave forms. We have a leave request employee and a leave request supervisor initiated, and this is for if somebody goes on maybe emergency FMLA or something of that nature and they don't have time to submit a leave form. A supervisor can now fill one out for the employee and submit it through the process. So I'm going to go to the employee leave request. Here's the form. You'll notice that the gray shaded fields on the top, these are on most forms read-only fields. They're protected so that you can't go in and change them, but it's going to automatically populate with your information, and this is based on who you are when you log in. So they are unique, which is a good thing. But you just go through and you fill this out the way you would any other leave form. I'll fill this one out. You'll see that depending on what browser you're using, it may hold on to information that you've entered in fields before, which can shorten your time for entering. So there's that. I took some leave a while back, some wellness time, so I'll fill that in here in just a minute. But let me bring your attention down here to the search field. The key to routing these e-forms, and routing is so important, folks. I can't emphasize enough how important correct routing of your form is. This destination field down here is where this form will go if I click the send button right now. And destination, I'll tell you right now, destination is not a destination. That must either contain, the destination field must either contain an individual's name or a department's inbox. So how do you get your supervisor's name in there if you're ready to send this leave form to your supervisor? You come here to the search field and you type in their last name. Okay, so there's Shelly Gonzalez, there's her last name. I click the search button. Over here in little red letters it tells me how many matches to that last name that it found. This is an easy one, there's only one. If there's more than one, let's say my supervisor is Billy Wheeler. I do a search by last name, and this time, oh look, there are 5 Wheelers. So, oh look, now there's 2 Billy Wheelers. So how do I know which one's my supervisor? Well, it's probably going to be the one with the CTC email address. So that would be the one that you select. Okay. So I'll select Billy Wheeler, and you'll see it puts Billy down here, and it also puts Billy Wheeler in the destination field. Now, I'm not actually going to send this to Billy Wheeler because he's not my supervisor. That was just an example. I'll go back to Shelly Gonzalez, search, click the drop down, select her name from the list, and it puts her name in the destination field. This is the key, folks. The destination field is who or where your form is going to go. If I need to send a form directly to payroll, like if I have a direct deposit request and I need to send it to payroll, I do a search for payroll. And it'll bring back multiple options, and then you just send it to whichever payroll option applies to you. Europe, Navy, PFEC. If you're here in Texas, it's going to be based on the first letter of your last name. So I would send my forms to Payroll Texas S-Z. Okay, so that's how you find departments. If you want to send it to Employment Services, you just do a search for employment. Click the search button, and there are your options for Employment Services, Continental and International, or Employment Services Texas. So, again, you'll notice I didn't select any of those, so Shelly's name is still in the destination field. So now I'm ready to click the send button and ship this thing off for my supervisor's approval. I click the send button, it gives me this, are you sure you want to send the document to Shelly? Yes, I am. I click OK. And now you'll see one of the built-in safeguards of these forms. If there's a field that's required before the originator submits it, that field will have a red asterisk beside it. So all of these fields with red asterisks must have something in them. Now when it highlights multiple checkboxes like this, that doesn't necessarily mean you need to select all of the checkboxes. There may be times when you do, but in this one you don't. You know from experience that you don't have to select all of the types of leave. So I said mine was a wellness time, so I just click other, which is approved hourly, comp time, wellness hours, and such. I took 2 hours of wellness time, and I did that on October, when did I do that? Must have been the 6th, and October 8th. Okay, so I have the checkbox checked, I have the number of hours, and I have the dates. If I were to omit the dates and resend this form, it'll come back and say, hey, you got the checkbox, that's good, you got the hours, that's good, but now you need the dates. So I'll put the dates back in there. If you come across an instance where you have more dates than there's room for, here in the dates requested field, you can always put see comments, and then put your dates down here in this comments field. This comments field is an expandable field, so it can grow for as much space as you need, so that shouldn't be a big deal. If there are any other additional comments that you would like to become part of this form, you can make those comments down here in the bottom. Notice these are two separate comments fields. This is a comment field on the form. This comment field is available for every form, even if there isn't a comment field on the form itself. So I think I'm ready to send this off. I click the send button, ship it off to Shelly, and there it goes. So now I can come in here to my sent folder. There's the form that I just sent. It shows that I sent it on the 13th of October to Shelly Gonzalez. It's a leave request. I open this up and there I can see everything that's on there. Now the way these are set up is once you submit a form to someone, I sent this to Shelly. Shelly has 5 days. She got an email just now that says a form's out there waiting for her approval. If she doesn't go out and approve that form in 5 days, it'll send her another email notification telling her that there's a form out there still waiting for her to take care of. And it'll send another email every 2 days that form sits in her inbox waiting for her approval. We did this to try and prevent forms from building up in people's inboxes the way they used to build up on their desks. So we just send little reminders out every now and then to let them know that they got a form that needs to be processed. Okay, so that takes care of basic forms, routing. If you ever get a form and you need to send it back to the individual who sent it to you, you can either open the form, go to the search box, type in the person's name who sent it to you and send it back to them that way. Or if you have a form that somebody sent to you, and I got to make sure I find the right one here. I think it's this one. If a form is sent to you and you want to send it back to that person, one of the options you have is you click the destination field drop-down button, and you should see history. So you select history. Now history isn't a destination. History is merely another set of options for the destination. So once you select history, you select history again, and now it'll show you who has touched the form before you, and you can send it back to any place in that history. So if I need to send this back to Employment Services Texas, I just select Employment Services Texas from the drop down, click send, authorize, and off it goes. Okay, easy stuff. So while we're here, let me change this back to destination so it doesn't actually go anywhere. While we're here, let me bring to your attention, now that a form has been sent, you'll notice that the send button is now replaced by a send authorize button. Beside that, we have a deny button. The only difference between send and authorize and deny is what shows up in the history. If I click send and authorize, it will approve this document. If I click deny, it will send this form to whoever shows up in the destination field, but it will mark the history as being denied. Clicking the deny button does not render the form dead in the water. It doesn't make it it doesn't incapacitate it in any way, shape, or form. It's still going to go through the whole process just like it would any other form. The only difference is it shows denied here in the history. Now, if somebody sends you a form and you need to send it back for corrections, then I recommend that you put here in the comment, return for corrections, and then whatever the correction was. That way, when the person who submitted it to you gets it back and it shows denied, they can read in the comments, oh, you returned it for corrections, I need to fix blah blah blah. Then they can go in and fix what needs to be fixed and then resubmit that form to you. One of the big keys, one of the things that I really want to stress with these e-forms is that you never ever submit a second form because the first one you submitted has an error. And the reason I say that is these forms, with the exception of the locked gray fields, anything on these forms can be changed anywhere along the route. Okay, so if I know that the zip code is wrong in this person's new address, I can just enter the new zip code and then make a comment down here, updated zip code. It's important that you put the comments in here because every time a change is made here on the form through the process, it'll show over here, view not modified or view modified. So if someone sees that the form was modified but doesn't see an explanation of what the modification down here was, they might just send it back. Okay? So be thorough, be accurate, and just, don't make it any harder than it should be, because it's really not. It's really simple. Not saying you have to make the changes. Again, the alternative to you making a change, send it back to the person who sent it to you. That's one way we're going to learn from our mistakes. Oh, they sent it back because I made an error. Let me fix it and not make that error again next time. Okay, so there's send and authorize, deny. The update button here simply it's the same as the save draft to the originator, but now this form isn't a draft form, it's an actual form. So I'm not going to save a draft if I make a change, I'm going to update it. And all that does is it saves the changes that I made so that when I come back into that form, here you can see that the change that I made took effect. And now when it's time for me to send it on, I click to make sure the destination field shows where it's supposed to go. This is for a DocuScan A test. This would go to payroll A-F. And now I would click the send and authorize button and off it would go. Okay, I'm not actually going to send this one out because it's a form that I use for these examples. So, but let's look at the rest of the buttons down here on the bottom. Send, authorize, deny, update. If you have to send a form with an attachment, you can add attachments to just about any form here in DocuFill. It's a three-step process, but it's not complicated. First, you click the attachment button. That will open the attachment dialog box. You select a file, so you click the choose file button. That's going to open your computer dialog box so you can find the file that you want to add. Let's see, do I have one here I can throw in there? I need a PDF. I'm sure I got a PDF here somewhere, probably not in pictures though. PDF. There's a PDF. PDF. There's a PDF. So here you'll see the form, but the form is not attached yet. You'll see that there are no files attached. So next I need to click the attach file button. So I've attached the file, but I haven't attached it to the form yet. Once I select the file and attach a file, now I need to submit the attachment. Now you'll see down here in the bottom it shows attachments 1. If I need to make a second attachment, I simply click the attachment button again, come up here, choose another file, click the attach file button, and then submit attachment. Now the attach button shows 2 attachments. So to remove an attachment is a very similar process. You click the attach button, you select the attachment that you don't want, you click on remove, and then you click submit attachment. It's a 3-step process, but this time you're going to remove and then submit. So now my attachments button only shows 1. And then from here I just submit the form or click the send to authorize button just like I would any other form. Kind of like other changes, as it goes through the process, at any point in time attachments can be added or removed. There is a limit to how many attachments that you can submit. Experience shows that 3 is the maximum number of attachments that you can attach to a form. So my suggestion is, if you need to attach more than 3 documents to your form, that you open Adobe Acrobat and combine those multiple documents into one document. And if you need help with that, our IT department can probably give you a hand, or you can shoot me an email and I can give you instructions on how to do that, or give me a call here at the Employee Training Department. Alright, so there's attachments. Print preview, you can just ignore that button because we don't print our e-forms. You have no need to print the e-forms because everything you submit is here in this folder. Everything that's been archived is here in this folder. You can see your forms. No need to print. So then the last button, if you open a form and you realize, okay, I'm not ready to do what I got to do, I can cancel. If you saved a draft and you decide that you don't need that draft anymore, there's an option down here to delete draft, and it will delete the draft, and when you decide you have to do that form again, you just start over. Okay? Pretty simple process. There are other required fields that may not show up right away. For example, if I open a PSF, some of you may be familiar with PSFs, maybe not. But if I open a change of status PSF, here you'll see we have our required red asterisks. So those are the fields that must be filled out by the originator of the form. But on a PSF, the originator most likely isn't going to be the employee. But we do have these check boxes here for the employee to check off before the form gets archived. So here you'll notice we have blue asterisks. So if a form has blue asterisks beside a field, then those fields must be filled out or must be completed prior to the form being archived. If there's extenuating circumstances, such as an employee has left the area and you can't get their signature, then simply make a comment down here, employee not available for oops, guess I spelled available wrong. Not available for approval, and you send it on. Okay. These comments, like I said earlier, these comments they stay with the form. They cannot be changed. They cannot be removed. Once the form is submitted, they become a permanent part of that form, and I can show you again here in one of these. Here's comments. Comment why it was denied. Up there's the comment I made earlier, updated the zip code. Can't change them, can't delete them. Permanent part of the form. Okay. All right. Well, I think that just about does it. I think I've covered everything. The toolbar, the icons up here in the top. The routing, crucial that you get the routing correct. There may be forms when you click the drop down for the destination that you see a list of all employees. That doesn't mean you have to send it to all employees. That doesn't mean you can pick and choose, just any random employee. You're still going to process these e-forms the same as you would the old paper forms. But all that means when you see the entire list of CTC employees, that just means that you can send it to anybody you want to. Your best bet is still to do the last name search and submit it that way. Okay. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email, dwyman@ctcd.edu. Give me a call, 254-526-1381, and I'll help you any chance and every chance I get. So until next time, I'm going to log out of here, and I'm going to say y'all have a great day. Take care.